Hello YouTube. It's a beautiful day. It's been cold in the morning here. Like high 30s, low 40s. But this morning it's like 60. Still got the jacket on because I don't like cold weather. 60's even too cold for me. I'd rather it be 90, 100 out. I know a lot of people don't like when it gets that hot, but I like it that hot. I like to be able to jump in the pool, or a cheap little pool back there, or go swimming, or have a cookout. And, which I guess you could do that in 70-degree weather. Yeah, but anyway, rambling. I don't like when it gets cold. But anyway, thought I'd do a little update on Austin's car. I put it back here. He's supposed to work on it with me. Not supposed to be doing all this by myself, but he stays pretty busy with, you know, got a bunch of kids and stuff. Well, he's got 2 kids, and then his girlfriend's got kids at basketball games and football games and wrestling and blah 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 and blah 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 blah. But you guys are probably wondering what happened with the 3rd gen. Well, he brought it over here. I put a tune in it. We had to do a bunch of other stuff, put fans on it, run the lines for the blow off valve, the wastegates, some other stuff I can't remember. Power steering fluid. It still needs the brakes. One of the brakes are leaking. Oddly enough, the brakes still work pretty good, but one of them's leaking. Yeah, see, I just filled that up not too long ago, and I've barely even driven it, and look, it's almost empty. What was that? That's the front brake then, ain't it? Yeah, the big reservoir is the front brake, so one of the front brakes is leaking. Anyway, that's got to be fixed. It's got one of, whoops, wrong way. It's got one of these cheap transmission dipsticks in it, and it's leaking. I don't know if it's the dipstick or the grommet, but that needs fixed. We're getting boost pressure from the block to the wastegates. That's not the ideal way to do it. We need to tap one of these turbos, like right here or somewhere, and get the wastegate pressure from here. It just does better. But I mean, that'll work. That'll work. So anyway, I drove the car, put a tune in it, drove the car. The tune was working good. Drove the car. I got videos of tuning it if you guys want to flip back through the channel. And it run good. Didn't really, well, I mean, the more you drove it, the worse it ran. And you get to the point to where it wasn't even idle. You'd let it set, start it back up, it'd run good, and get to the point, the more you drove it, the worse it drove, the worse it ran. And I thought, I had to start doing the heat check on the exhaust, and cylinder number 8, this back cylinder over here, wouldn't get as hot as the rest of them. And then one of these over here wouldn't get as hot as the rest of them. Now, if you guys keep up with the channel, you'll know that on Willis's car, his car ran just fine. And it had a cylinder that wasn't firing. TJ's the one that figured that out. We got to looking at the exhaust, and it was brand new headers, and all of them were burnt except for his was the back number 7. He took it to the drag strip, and it still ran like a 1350. But we fixed that, and I don't even know what was causing it, honestly. We took the injectors out, and I kind of energized them with, you know, power and ground with some, I use these little alligator clips. But anyway, and I sprayed fluid through them. We put it back together. I don't know if it was just dirty, or maybe we didn't have a connector plugged in good, but it fixed it. The car runs down a cylinder. It slowed it down a whole second. And the car runs like, well, now its fastest pass so far is a 1231 in the quarter, and it's just a 5.3 with a cam and an LS1 intake. And it actually would run 11s. He's getting like 1500 RPM drop on the shift, so the converter is way too tight. If we had a converter that was looser, that was getting like 700-800 RPM drops on the shift, that car might run 11s. But anyway, sidetrack. So I figured number 8 was having issues because it was the eBay wire harness that he bought. Now, my car, in there, again, if y'all keep up with the channel, it ran on the stock ECM forever. Well, I took the stock ECM off and bought a Haltech Rebel just so I could control my bump better and control my boost better. Because, you know, most boost controllers, they're just, you set it to one pressure and that's the pressure it's going to be. You know what I mean? On the Haltech Rebel, you can set it based on race time. You can ramp it in, blah, blah. But anyway, sidetracked again. But anyway, I had taken all his injectors out and they were dirty. So we took and had them cleaned. We put them in there. Same thing. It run good. And then the more you drove it, just run like crap. So I figured it was his eBay harness. I put my harness that come off that car that ran forever on that ECM. And I put my ECM on there. And, well, before that, the car got to where it wouldn't even start. So that's when I put my ECM and harness on it. Well, still won't start. So I did compression test. This thing has ridiculous compression, especially since the cam that's in it. The bigger the cam you put in there, it bleeds off compression. It's just the way it works. I need to make a cam video on how the duration and lobe separation angles and everything like that affect the engine and the RPM it operates at and blah blah, but that's a discussion for a different day. But for as big as a cam this thing has in it, every cylinder had 200 to 210 cranking compression on my gauge, which is ridiculously high, especially for that cam, because I think that car in there only gets like 170, 180. This one's at 200 to 210. But anyway, so I did compression test. He had one coil that wasn't firing too. I fixed that if y'all go back through the videos. But all the coils are firing. I put a Noid light on the injector harness. The injectors are firing, but the more you crank the car, the lighter the Noid light would light up. So I ran the ground wires a little bit different. When you crank the car, it does drop to 9 to 10 volts, but that starter does drag sometimes. I think that's a starter issue, but that's still enough volts to start the car. So I got some starter fluid, sprayed in there. I actually still see some on the front of the throttle body there. I took all that off just to make sure, get it running on motor first. I was trying to just get it run on motor and try to eliminate things. But yeah, still wouldn't start. So here I am scratching my head like it's got compression, air, fuel, blah, blah, blah. Still won't start. And we had the injectors cleaned and blah, blah, blah. And I probably missed a few steps in there of what I've done. But so I figured let's take the injectors out again just to look at them. This is the last one. Number 8's the last one before the regulator. It seems like where everything built up. So his filter ain't doing a good job, number one, or there's just so much crap in that tank. Yeah, that is pure dirt. That's pure dirt, man. It's almost like someone put dirt in his tank. That is pure dirt. So that's the problem. So Austin's going to take the car back home with him. They got a new house and a bigger garage now, so he's going to take it back home with him, and he's going to completely clean the fuel system. I told him everything has to be clean. The fuel pumps, hopefully they're not hurt, because that, now that that's dried, that is pure dirt, man. Anyway, the injectors have to be cleaned again, or he might buy my injectors. I'm switching to the Bosch 210s. Regulator has to be cleaned. The fuel pumps, the fuel filter, all the lines, the rails, everything has to be taken off. The tank's going to have to be dropped, and it's all going to have to be thoroughly cleaned. But Yeah, I fought with this thing forever before I figured that out. I should have figured out the starter fluid's what figured it out for me. I sprayed that through there and it started. I said, well, it's a fuel issue. Why ain't it getting fuel? I mean, this thing would hold ridiculous pressure at the regulator. Actually, I was messing with it yesterday morning, and I come out here today and it still had the pressure on it. So it held good pressure. But yeah, it had me pulling my head out. You drive it, it just started running worse and worse. And then it got to where it just wouldn't start at all. Had the injectors clean. We had a coil misfiring over there, replace that. And you drive it and it just run worse and worse. And then it got to the point where it wouldn't even start. Compression test, cool test, injector test. The Noid light, the more you cranked it, the Noid light wasn't flashing as good. So I redid the grounds and they flash really good now. Put my computer and harness on it, still wouldn't start. Sprayed starter fluid in there, it started. Took the fuel rail out. That is completely clogged up. And I bet all of them are like that. I don't know how that much crap could have gotten the tank, because this thing had a 305 in it, and he daily drove it. And he did have the tank cut and had a sump welded on it and put some fuel pumps back here, but that still shouldn't have got that much crap in there. Can you see the sump? I don't know, but there's the fuel pumps, and I don't know where the filter's at, because that's the pumps right there. I don't know if he's got a filter on it. If you don't, Austin, bad Austin. Let's get out here and look. Yeah, the sump's up there. There it is. But still, that shouldn't have got that much crap in the tank just from having the sump. It's almost like someone put dirt in his tank. Because that is straight up dirt. Straight up dirt. And I had taken them injectors out before, figuring there wasn't something right, especially on that one right before the regulator where everything likes to settle, because that's where it holds the pressure and releases it, the regulator. And they were dirty, and I was like, man, someone sold you dirty injectors. No, they didn't. There's just a bunch of crap in the tank. And like I said, he daily drove this with the 305 in it, and it didn't have crap in the tank then. Welding that sump on there shouldn't have put a bunch of dirt in it. That is straight up dirt. I don't know. So I was hoping we'd at least get to race this once this year, but over here at Kentucky Dragway, they're not even racing this weekend, and then the next race is this coming weekend, and that's the last race of the year, so he says. Now last year, if the weather was good, he kept going, but he said he's not going to do that this year. I mean, there's other tracks still open, but I don't know how long I'm not doing all that. Austin's going to take it back with him, and he's going to clean it all out, and he'll probably buy my injectors, and we'll put those on there, and I'll get the Bosch 210s for that, because that right there is making enough power to start capping out them 142-pound injectors. I could probably just turn my fuel pressure up. Maybe I could probably just turn my fuel pressure up, and them 142s will be fine, but my base is set at like 42 pounds. And it does about 75 pounds going down the track. Nah, I think I'll just get the Bosch 210s. I'll sell him my Snake Eater 142s. And then he'll clean all that up. We'll put his wire harness and computer back on it. And tune on it a little bit more, and it should be good to go. But I don't know how long that's going to be, but I know y'all hadn't seen this car on the channel for a little bit. I just want to do an update on it. Talked a little bit longer than I should have, but that's where we're at. I was going to take the filter off of it, see what it looked like, but I can't find a filter. Guys, if you do special fuel lines like this or something like that, put a filter before you pumps, and then put a filter after you pumps. Hopefully it didn't hurt his pumps. I think on mine and Chris's we have 100 micron before the pump, and then a 10 micron after the pump, I believe. E85, don't use the paper filters, blah blah blah. Which, and that car in there was LT1. I ran the stock filter, which is a paper filter, on E85 forever. Didn't hurt it, but they say not to do that, so there's that. Here, I took all the injectors out. Look, those two are completely clogged up. That one ain't too bad. There's stuff in there. Stuff in that one. Stuff in that one. Stuff in that one. Yeah, they're all clogged up. Especially these three. Especially these two. Yeah, that one ain't too bad. That one ain't too bad. That one's bad. See it? There's a screen down in there. That one's pretty bad. That one's pretty bad. I don't think it's dried all up too. But yeah, definitely the issue. Thanks for watching.